Hello and welcome back to Good Germs Off-Road Adventures. And yeah, I'm sitting in the side-by-side. This is of course the 2014 Arctic Cat Wildcat 1000X four-seater. I think it's also known as the Wildcat 4X. I haven't done a lot on the channel with this thing. You know, we took it out for a, what do you call that? A bit of a shakedown ride, which went pretty well until it didn't go well when the belt decided to explode. Other than that, and the video of changing the belt, putting a new belt on it, I haven't really done much with this thing on the channel. We took it out to King of the Hammers. You know, I drove it around for a couple of days out there, going to different places to view racing and watch off-roading things. And then the following weekend, we had some family out and some of the kids were driving it around, put some miles on it. Now keep in mind, this thing is 10 years old, but it's only got about 650 original miles on it and about 75 hours on the engine. So very low use, but I suspect those were not gentle and maybe some maintenance wasn't great. Anyway, towards the end of the second weekend out at King of the Hammers, it started running not great, meaning rich. And I suspected it's always running rich because you can smell it. Makes the wise otter. Am I glitching? Makes the eyes water. There you go. Oof, thought I was glitching into another parallel universe and gonna have to say hello to AJ. Anyway, back to what I was talking about. It's been running rich for a while, I suspect, because it makes the eyes water and sometimes just act like it was loading up, but then it would seem to be okay. But during that second weekend at King of the Hammers, it started loading up real bad, bogging down. It just acted like it was getting too much fuel, and you could actually smell it. It's quite rich. So we probably need to get into that. And I'll be honest, you know, bought this thing over the last summer, and while I did many things to improve the safety and some reliability issues like belt and a spare belt, air compressor to fill up the tires when they get holes in them, and a plug kit and first aid kit, added handlebars, mirrors, just handles, you know, these things right here and here, and I think there's some back here. Harnesses, harness bar in the back, added harnesses in the back, added harnesses. I am glitching like crazy today with the language. Anyway, made the electrical nice and safe, made the lights work. Sorry for that. Put a whip antenna that's got a light on it for driving around at King of the Hammers. Put some chase lights on the back. Just a bunch of safety things. Put some new tires. But literally done no maintenance. I never even opened the airbox. Any of you watching the channel for a while know I've got a thing for making sure I'm up on the maintenance. And well, I just haven't done any of that. Checked the oil. Made sure it had some and it looked decent. And it did. It had oil and it looked decent. That's about it. Haven't really done much else. So we're going to get into opening the airbox, having a look at that air filter. We're going to change the spark plugs. We're probably going to take the intake off and clean it real nice, because this is fuel injected, so it's not like you can just adjust the fuel air mixture, you know. So we're just going to make everything as clean as possible. From what I understand, that running rich condition is pretty common on these when they get a little dirty. Getting into all that though, it's going to be a bit of a challenge. You know, Arctic Cat put the engine sort of there and buried it. You know, it's a V-twin, and way back in there is the back cylinder. The front cylinder is down there somewhere. There's the airbox, kind of behind that shock right there where it's, you know, in a place where you can't get to it. So basically everything's got to come out. This tray's got to come out. This green plastic panel's got to come off. These rear seats are going to have to come out. The panel behind the rear seats are going to have to come out, and a heat shield that's behind that is going to have to come out. I suspect that to be hours worth of work, none of which I'm going to bore y'all with. So while y'all enjoy the intro over the next 15 or so seconds, I'm going to do all of that and catch back up with you. In reality, that's probably going to be a few days from now. Anyway, stick around. We'll see if we can't figure out what's making this thing run like a bugger. Well, the Arctic Cat, it's disassembled to a point where we can work on it. And let me tell you, a lot of parts had to come off. We had to take seats off, plastic, more plastic. There's the airbox and filter, and the current condition or state of the car. Yeah. Let me get you in here, get a closer look at what I'm seeing. We've got some cleaning to do. As you can see, this just does not look lovely. Also the same for the air filter and box. That filter is disgusting. There's just, it's a mess. So the goal is going to be clean the injectors, which means taking the injectors out. Got to figure out how to do that. Shouldn't be too difficult. Clean the injectors, clean the throttle body, air filter. Might as well do the box while we're at it. Change the spark plugs, put it back together, see if it runs any better, because it was running pretty bad. Very, very rich, loading up. Just not what you want. Probably change the oil, put a new oil filter on it. It's got an oil leak, the drain plug leaks. I suspect the last time it was changed, maybe they didn't put a new washer on the drain plug, and it's seeping out of the drain plug. Very, very, very small amount, but we'll address that. I've got a new washer for the drain plug. But I think first thing I'm going to do is go ahead and clean the filter, so that way it gets a chance to dry before we get into anything else. I think also I'm going to soak all this down with some degreaser so we can come back and clean it a little bit. I'd use brake cleaner, but this is a lot of area. This stuff seems to be pretty good. So I've got the air filter and box and everything over here drying, cleaned up pretty well. That air filter is pretty ruined. I think it's just been dried out for the last 10 years. Probably never oil. I don't know. Look, it's probably going to need to be replaced. Some of it's torn, some of it's coming apart. It's in pretty poor condition. We'll run it for now, but we're probably going to look at replacing it. Next, we're going to clean in here. And since I can't roll this outside and hit it with a water hose, I've got a pretty neat tool that hooks to the air compressor. It looks just like a blowgun, but it's got a hose. You put it in a container of cleaner. In this case, I'm going to use Totally Awesome, and spray it off. And then I'm going to just put it in a container of water and rinse it with that. Get some nice compressed air with the, it's a makeshift pressure washer is all it is. I'll set you up while we take care of that. First, I'm just going to set a bottle of Totally Awesome here on the floor. Put the little hose in here. It's got a weight to keep it in there. I guess that's what it's for. And we just get to spraying. Pretty good. Now, I'm going to set a paddle of water down here and hope that doesn't spill. Okay. Make sure the hose gets down into the water there, and then we're going to rinse this off. And now I think I'll just get some air on here to try to knock all this moisture off. All right, well that looks a lot better. Let's see if we can get fuel injector out, and let's see how much of this we can get off this throttle body and get it cleaned up. I think we'll start with just the part that goes onto the air filter housing. These are really fancy clamps. I like them. Look at that. That's a nice clamp. And I think we just need to disconnect these 3 connectors like that. That one doesn't want to. This one back here comes off. That's good. There we go. And we have the throttle cable still connected back here. How does that come off? Well, we can leave the throttle cable on and we can access this thing to clean it up real nice. We've got some carburetor choke and throttle body cleaner. It's hard to see what we're doing in here, but it's pretty dirty. We don't want it to be dirty anymore. That ought to do that some good. We can honestly put this guy back on here. There's a hole on the inside of the throttle body that was pretty dirty. It's for the idle, but also right here, it's probably hard to see. You've got a couple of grooves in that gasket that need to be lined back up. Let's go ahead and tighten this throttle body back down. That's pretty good. And I've got some brake cleaner to get some of the stuff off the engine or the crankcase that has fallen there. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and plug these things all back in. I think they're probably good to go now. Okay, there we go. Those are all plugged back up, and now we've got the fuel injector there, and I think I'm going to have to move the camera so we can see what's going on there. I'm a little wary of all these plastic clips. Right here you've got the fuel line coming in, clips to the top of this hold down for the injector. Obviously the harness is down here. Just kind of eyeballing it to see how it comes out. I think you pull this wire back here and that will allow us to disconnect the electrical for it. And then I believe this plastic clip has these 2 little prongs here that need to push down, so this can come off, and then we can unbolt the hold down for it and then remove the injector. And then we've got another one here in the back. So I'm going to see if I can sneak in here with a pair of pliers, needle nose, to pull the, oh yeah, there we go. That just came out. So that should let us unplug it, which it does. That's good. And now let's see if this is how we, oh yeah. Okay, got the clip out and it is not broken. So that is good. So this guy should just pull off. There we go. Oh yeah, that's not too bad. A little bit of gasolina leaking. That's to be expected. Maybe we can tuck it up here and it won't leak everywhere. It's going to fall off and then get gas everywhere. That's fine. Okay, a couple of torque screws and we should be able to pull the injector. And if I had to guess, just like everything else on this machine, they're probably 30s. Wouldn't you know it, I was right. Torque's 30. And really, really tight. Okay. There we go. Okay, very good. And then, there we go, injector is removed. All right, so with the injector out, we're going to first do a test. I mean, I know that they work because the thing was running, but we're going to do a test. And I've got this neat little thing I picked up on the Amazon website. Hook it up to a battery, and you can actually pulse your injectors. So I'm going to set you up here. We'll run a test, and then we'll clean it. Okay, so first, the one thing I'm having difficulty with is getting these little connectors to stay in the injector. Because as you can see, we've got two big prongs, but these tiny little things. So it's just difficult to get these to stay on. But anyway, and then I've got it on number 8 mode, which pulses. Anyway, here we go. So you can hear it's working. That's nice. But now we're going to go ahead and clean it, and to do that, we've got this adapter thing. The injector slides on there. We're going to put a zip tie on it to hold it in place. Let me unplug these for now. Or put a zip tie around it to help hold it in place, because we're going to put pressure on it with cleaner. Oh. Okay, well, Berryman cleaner is not going to work because the tip comes out as part of that, so that's not going to work. Let's see if the CRC one will do it. Yeah, so the CRC came off and we've got that nozzle. So then we literally just put this on here, and that's going to blow stuff everywhere. That's fantastic. So we're going to reattach our leads. Hopefully we're seeing this. Sure. We'll set this on here. We'll hold this together. We're going to put it on pulse, and we're going to squirt it through. There we go. That's pretty good. All right. Well, that's a good thing. That's approved. I like it. Let's unplug this for now. Okay. Not mad at that at all. And the kit came with a bunch of these adapters to fit different injectors. But that seems to work pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and clean the input port up. Seems like a good idea. Okay. And then, of course, this injector just goes back in here pretty much like it was. And then we've got this thing that slides on it to hold it in place. There we go. That should be it. Just like that. And now we're reassembled. We've got this thing reassembled. I'm going to go clean off the surface of the intake where this goes, and we'll just put it back together. Okay, let's just clean this off. That's better. We just don't want any debris getting down in there. Okay. I forgot to the injector, so we can put the injector back. Okay, here we go. And that should just go right back in there, and it does good. These things were super tight when I went to go take them off. I am going to put the ratchet back on, but I'm not going to put a lot. Just a how you doing, it's all that needs. Okay, fuel line can go back on. Very good. Put our clip back in. There we go. Okay, and then plug our harness back up. And then I need to find what I did with the little wire piece that holds that on. It's a little bit difficult to see from this angle, but got it. So now we're plugged back in. That should be good to go. I do want to make sure that that's not going to leak fuel, but I think I'm going to do the other one first. Okay, so that's the front injector. The rear injector, the exact same process. It's just a little bit, harder to get to, meaning it's sort of back there where the arrow's pointing at. So I'm going to go ahead and take care of that right now. You've already seen me clean one injector, so I'll just do that one real quick and catch back up to you. Okay, well, I had to make a quick trip up to the O'Reilly. When I was trying to get the rear injector out for the rear cylinder, the clip that holds the fuel line onto the injector broke, and fortunately, O'Reilly has the perfect answer to that. It's a Dorman product, go figure. Whatever it is, 800-023, fits Ford GM 5/16, 3/8. There's a couple of different ones, but this is the one without the little tab on it. I'll show you. If I can get one out and not spill them all. All right, the clip looks like this. And I'm just going to go ahead and put it on. Okay. Oh yeah, here we go. And these fit perfectly. And there we go. Good as new. And now that's probably not going to fall off. All right, got the spark plugs out. They look great. So this is the front, and that's the rear. I don't know if y'all can see, but yeah, she's been running rich. They're actually a little wet. Anyway, and they don't smell great. They smell like gasoline. So we've got our new ones. They're gapped, ready to go. The gap spec on this is 19 to 24 thousandths. These are sitting right at about 21-ish thousandths. So we're going to go ahead and put these in real quick. So unfortunately, the rubber thing that holds the spark plugs in the spark plug wrench, you can see it doesn't really hold on to them too good. And why did I grab an old one? I needed a new one. Okay. Anyway, like I was saying, the rubber thing, oh, actually on my new spark plugs, it holds on to it just fine. Well, that's good. So now we can just kind of get this thing down in there and get it started. When I took these out, they were oddly not tight at all. Okay, perfect. This is that rear coil that I was looking for this plug right here. This is just a rear accessory port, just 12 volts constant. I was looking for this and discovered that this was just hanging down there for no reason. So mounted this back up, and also the spark plug boot, you can tell it's got a weird shape to it to meet the shape of the head, and it was on backwards. So it wasn't, there we go. It was on there correct, but it just wasn't sealing up to keep debris out of there, but looks like we got it correct this time. And then of course the front cylinder goes here. Okay, and we can put this back on. Same thing, it's got a funny shape to it. Just lines up with the funny shape of the head. And they're kind of a bugger to push on. They don't like to. There it goes. Finally, click. And of course we'll have to fix this later. It actually hangs off the heat shield somewhere up here, but we'll fix that later. Okay, so let me catch you up on the current state of the Arctic Cat, Wildcat 1000X, 4-seater, whatever it's called. So we have cleaned the throttle body, we have removed and cleaned the injectors, tested them, put them back in, they seem to do the thing. The air box has been cleaned and reassembled. The air filter's been cleaned and put back in. That air filter's shot. It came apart. I've got it, you know, the sleeve that goes around the outside, it's held on with zip ties for now. It's fine for now. We're not riding it right now, so I'll just have to order another one. And when I put that in, I'll show it to you later. Anyway, new spark plugs, front and rear, and we've changed the oil. The oil was, as you'd expect, it was okay. We put, let's see, what kind of oil did we put? Amali 040 synthetic, about 2.5 quarts so far. And we did put a Wix filter in. There's your part number, whatever it says, 57937. And let me tell you something. Out of everything on this rig, that has been the most difficult part, was changing the oil. Draining the oil, not a big deal. Filling it, kind of a pain, but that oil filter is in a stupid location. Let me show you. It is down there. Horrible. Whoever engineered this, we're not friends anymore. So I think what I'm going to do now is zip tie the front ignition coil so it's not just laying on the side of the engine, so it's kind of suspended somewhere. Let's see, where can I just... Will these go through here? Sort of. Enough. Yeah. Okay. We'll just zip tie it up here for now. Well, that's better than it was. I think the only thing left to do now is to start it and I guess see how it runs. Okay, here we go. Well, it sounds about the same. You know, these things with that V-twin and it's offset at a weird angle, they have a bit of a crazy idle. And I'm gonna tell you, it smells a lot better. Yeah. It smells significantly better. That throttle response is a bit better too. Wow. I think we're going to let this warm up a little bit, make sure we don't have any oil leaks, and then we'll check the oil and see where we're at. Well, first let's see how it shuts off, and that's pretty good. We'll start back up. Yeah, see? We're back to the same old games, I see. Huh. Anybody out there know anything about these things? Is this normal? It does sound a bit better. And it still does smell a lot better. Probably shouldn't have shut it off when it was half warmed up. Anyway, I'm going to let this run for a bit and I'll just see how it's going and catch back up to you. Well, certainly does seem to run a little better. It's still, you know, when it's warm, it doesn't really want to start without giving it a little throttle. I don't know what that's about. Everything is clean and nice, so I really don't know. But once she's running after that, she seems to run quite well. So I don't know, but I can tell you, it sure smells a lot better. This thing was smelling so bad you couldn't even be around it. Your eyes would be watering and everything else. Doesn't seem to be running rich or loading up. Well, maybe it is running rich. Hell, I don't know. But it's not loading up, sitting there idling. Revs up real nice, good throttle response. Probably just needs to get ridden more. I figure it would also be a good idea. Maybe we'll put some you know, maybe some cleaner down the fuel tank, maybe some Berryman down there. That might help it to clean up the, maybe the valves are real dirty. I don't know. But anyway, I think that's going to do it. You know, I'm not going to bother putting this thing all back together on the video. Look, it's a lot of bits to take off, but it's not that bad. Heat shield just goes here. I'm going to have to mount the ignition coil where it belongs. Heat shield goes there, plastic panels go there, the little trunk thing goes back in here, and then there's a green body panel that goes up on top, and that's pretty much it. Oh yeah, and then the back seats go back in, the harnesses go back on. It's a lot of things, but it's really not all that difficult. Probably not worth showing y'all. You've seen enough already. But anyway, I think that's going to do it for today. Got a lot done. Couldn't have made it any worse than it was anyhow, but it does seem like it might be better. Only time will tell. If y'all made it to the end of the video, you know, that's amazing. Do me a favor, if you're not already subscribed, go ahead and do that. It's free. You click the red button and then you're subscribed. Maybe like it, share it, have a watch party with your friends. No, don't do that. Anyway, I guess that'll do it for today. Y'all ride safe, and we'll see you later. Bye-bye now. I think we'll just ride it just like that. We don't need to put it back together.